Hello, it's Kadesha. I'm back with another video. It is time to walk in the authority and the power that the Lord has called you to. It's time to be bold. What did he tell Joshua? Be bold, fear not, I am with you. Be bold, be courageous. And I don't know what this is that's thinking that I'm not about to say something, because no, I'm like Jesus now. I gotta be like Jesus. I gotta flip over stuff. And no, not really. Because Jesus wasn't playing. I ain't going to the temples flipping over nothing. But people are in the marketplace taking advantage of people. And you're not about to take advantage of me. You're not about to take advantage of me, because what you're doing is just not right. So you remember I was talking about your power as a consumer. And oftentimes we forget that we have that power, because we have been led to believe that if the cost goes up on something, I still need it anyway. And I do believe that the Lord will bless you with the things that you need, regardless of the cost. So that's not what I'm saying. So the things that we don't need is the things that we want. But even some things, I would say, to go as far as need, you have to realize, like, do I really need that? You have to reconsider. And so I called because I told you about this service that I was getting done, and they were trying to tell me about these extra services. So it's coming time for the appointment, because I made the appointment over 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so it's coming up time for the appointment. So they call me back to confirm the prices, and they tell me it's a certain amount. And I'm like, well, why is it that? And they said, because we want to do this additional thing. And I'm like, well, no, you don't have to do that, because it's already been done. And they were like, well, if we don't do it, it will be considered an incomplete read. Like, we may not be able to get all that we need. And it's like, well, what you mean? Because you're going to be doing the same exact thing that the other people did. So I don't understand what you're saying. What are you talking about? And I was like, but I can decline that, right? I don't have to get. And they were like, no. Well, they said, yeah, you can decline it, but it's going to be considered an incomplete read. And I'm like, how is it an incomplete read when somebody has already done exactly the test that you did, and they're sending you the images? So how is it incomplete? I don't really understand what you're saying. And so, you know what I did? I said, okay, because you're not the only, and that's what we be forgetting. We are like, we the only one that provide a service. No, you're not. You're not the only one. So you have to make sure that when you're doing something, you are doing it because when you give a price for something, let me say that, you're doing it because this is what the price that the Lord has okayed for you to do. And I can't say that's not for them. I can't say that the Lord didn't okay that, but the Lord did okay for me to pay it. And so I said, no, I'm not going to pay that. So let's just go ahead and cancel that appointment. And unfortunately, goes back to my video with integrity. Like, building something, it starts with, it's to be successful, you have to have integrity. And so, yeah, you may get a certain amount because you're upcharging people, but do you think that's going to last? Do you think it's going to last? And it's like, no, it's not going to last. But I ain't here to tell you if that's going to last. The only thing I'm going to do is take my business somewhere else, because I know what you're doing is not right. Another thing. Now, this one was different. Look at me. Get make excuse, right? So I'm calling about a service that I have, an internet service. I'm going to tell you what the service is. I will not say the people, because I ain't trying to do that. They be doing that on the commercials now. I'm like, they be saying other brands. You used to couldn't say that. You used to have to say, like, other brands. You wouldn't be able to say the name of the brand, but now they be doing it. I'm like, I don't like that. But yeah, so I'm getting an internet service, in which we can get internet from a lot of different places. So, and like you would know. And this is different from my phone. This is different. Because you remember, my phone bill was my fault because I was somewhere else. My internet been here the whole time. I didn't take my internet with me. I couldn't do that. I didn't unplug it and take it over to where I was and plug it up. It wasn't no need for that. So when I see that I have an increase of $15 on my bill, I say, now what is this? Because I realize I don't need internet. I want internet, but I don't need internet. So I'm like, okay, what is this? Because you gotta be nice, because they gonna try to give you the best. These people just work, they just work for the company. They don't set the rules, they don't set the regulations. So I said, okay, what is this? And they went to tell me, yeah, we went up on the price. And I'm like, see, that's what they be doing. And like I said, we have come to the point to where we think we need something. And it's just like, you don't need that. And so when they go up on the price, I'm gonna need for that price to go down. I'm gonna have to go somewhere else. I'm gonna have to do without, because I don't need that. What I need is shelter, food, and water. That's what I need. So all this other stuff, because even a phone, keep on. I'm gonna be like the beekeeper. Yeah, I'm gonna be off the map. You're not gonna know where I am. But I'm gonna be chilling. I'm gonna be good. I'll be good. So yeah, they were like, oh yeah, we went up, and so that's just the internet package that you have, and we went up on that one. And I'm like, well, I just got this internet a couple months ago, and I was asking, is this a promotion? Does it go up after a year? And of course, they telling you what you want to hear when they putting you on something. And they were like, well, no, it's not gonna go up within a year. Yeah, it ain't gonna go up within a year, because it's gonna go up before the year. So I forgot the man's name, but I wrote this lady name down. So I'm gonna call back and find you in a database. But anyway, so I'm like, well, I wasn't aware that the bill was going up. So y'all can't just be saying, oh, the bill going up and I'm just gonna charge these people extra. Like, what are we doing here? What type of business are we running? Like, I am confused by the things that people are doing. And then my family think I'm crazy when I say, oh, I'm about to start a business doing XYZ, because all the people that start off, I feel like genuine, you get to a place of it's just greed, and you start to upcharge because you can, not because you need to. It's like, are you building more towers for this to be? No. So what are you doing? And so, and then they had sent me a message early in the week talking about it was down. So you need to be actually slicing my bill, because it was down. The internet was down. But fortunately, I wasn't here, so I didn't even have to use it. So I'm like, okay, that's nice that they telling us that it's down. Those things happen. But you want to upcharge my bill? Okay. So I was like, well, is there a different plan that you have that's lower? Because I would like to keep the internet, but I'm not about to pay I'm not about to pay more for it, because I don't need it. I don't work from home. Thankfully, I don't work from home, so I don't need this bill. And they were like, yeah, let me see what that bill is. And she was like, well, because of your promotions that you have, you would basically be paying the same for a smaller, she didn't say gigabyte, I guess it's speed or something. You would be paying the same amount because of your promotions. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, thank you, because you're very helpful. Like I said, no need to have attitude. I was like, but I wasn't aware of this going up. But I would just like for you to help me cancel this, because I'm not going to pay an additional $15 for something that I had no control over. Like, I can go somewhere else and get a cheaper internet bill. I'm not going to worry about that. And she's like, okay, I can transfer you to someone else to get it done. I was like, okay. And so she got back on there. I guess she was talking to her team lead, and they were basically saying, you can do it. And she was like, oh, I can do it. And I was like, okay. And she was like, well, hold on while I gets to the right screen to do it. And I was like, okay. Because at this point, I'm like, oh, that's one bill I don't have to worry about going forward. Gets back on the call, tells me about another, I guess, I don't want to say speed. I'm going to say speed. I don't know what's the proper term. I don't know the proper term. But was telling me it was lower. A lower one. After I've already asked you. So I don't know if your team just told you about it, which I don't know. But you telling me about a lower bill after I told you I want to cancel my stuff. And they were like, so we can do that one instead. And I said, well, can you tell me what will be the charges of that bill going forward? Because I'm not about to be sitting here playing. She told me a price. And I said, well, what is it after taxes? Because I know y'all do all the taxes stuff. And she was like, well, it's actually going to just be this amount. And I'm like, well, when my bill is different, I'm going to call back and say, well, so-and-so told me it was this. She started laughing. Because like I said, this is not them. This is someone higher up making these decisions. And they're the person who has to deal with people calling in and upset about it, unfortunately. And they have to put out fires that they didn't even start. So I'm like, I'm not about to make her upset because there ain't no sense. She ain't do this. She just work for the people. And she was like, she's like, and I saw a promotion to where I can get your bill cheaper than my current bill that I had already. And I'm just like, how many people is paying $100 for this high-speed internet when they could be paying more than half of that and still be able to get all that they need done? You have to be willing to be bold, be courageous, and even go without, because it should be a win-win. A business is there to help people, because people are doing, and internet is helpful. It very is. So I ain't gonna try to act like it's not. But there was a world before the internet, and they survived very well without it. So don't do that. And this could be for anything. Mine is about a service, or two different types of services. It could be anything, but I believe the Lord is calling us out of this comfort zone of just allowing things to let it be, let it be. It's like, no, I'm going to have to say something. And of course, that's like worldly stuff. It's like, no, I'm about to get to the nitty gritty. I'm not about to play anymore. No longer. I'm not about to play. If I'm not about to play about a service that I need to get done, how much more can I play about my family being saved? How much more could I play about me walking in all that God has told me to walk in? I can't play with any of it. And today, the Lord let me recognize that, all right, I had more confidence than I realized, more boldness than I realized. And I'm just like, all right, Lord, what's next? Lord, like, chill out. Like, what's next? Because, no. But thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, sa que quieres ver en otros, me la comida. Until next time. Bye.